everybody. It's Weebo and Polly. Say hi, Polly.
Hello.
And this is Cocktail Hour. And tonight I am drinking spiked hot chocolate with peppermint schnapps. Polly, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a early batch of my Christmas cocoa concoction.
What's that?
It is a dark roast coffee with a double espresso shot of mint espresso, natural mint, mind you, and a healthy helping of bourbon.
They make mint espresso?
No, they don't. But when you're using your espresso machine, when you're packing the powder in, you chop up some fresh mint leaves, toss them in with the espresso, and then you run it through as per normal. The steam brings through the mint naturally.
Interesting.
Yes.
See, we can't do that at Starbucks. We just have to put one of those peppermint pumps of syrup in, and that's how you get mint.
No, I know what you mean. I just came across the happy idea of, wait a minute, we're brewing beans. Why not involve some mint leaves in the process and impart some minty flavor?
I mean, that's definitely how you get shit done. I feel like coffee's been ruined for me forever. Now that
Starbucks,
I'm a barista, and I can literally make whatever coffee that I want whenever I want, and just enjoy it like that. And it can be however I want, as strong as I want it or as weak as I want it. But it's more often than not always stronger than what normal people are used to. Because not everyone knows how to proportion their grounds to waters or to water ratio correctly. And so more often than not, it's the incorrect way, and it's very weak coffee, right? So it's bad. It's not as strong as I'd like it to be. And now it's never as strong as I'd like it to be.
Well, you know what? I hear you there, because or I think a lot of people screw that up. And understandably, it's counterintuitive. It's if you add less grounds, your coffee will be more bitter.
More grounds, less bitter.
Yeah. I mean, we're assuming all things are equal and you're not using shitty beans to begin with. Hold on, getting a double echo. There we go. The screen decided to pause. That's good.
Well, no, what I was talking about is like if you add more grounds, less water, stronger coffee. Less grounds, more water, not a strong coffee. And that's because it gets watered down. The more water it is that you're running through the coffee pot itself.
Well, you know what? Okay, I hear you. But well, you're a barista, so I'm going to drag you through the science of covfefe.
All right, drag me through the science of how coffee is made.
No. I'm not going to drag you through the science of it. I just mean like this. Like, let's say people say, oh, I don't like strong coffee. More often than not, what they mean by that is that they don't like bitter coffee, which is understandable. Yeah. And that's why you get people putting so much sugar and cream in their coffee that is virtually melted coffee ice cream. It's so sweet and sugary and creamy is what I mean by like melted coffee ice cream.
Depends on the roast, actually, more so than anything, how bitter the coffee is going to taste. Because the longer they roast it, the darker it gets, the less caffeine.
Indeed.
So you roast it until it's like caffeine less, then you get decaf. That's how decaf is. But like a blonde roast is super freaking bitter. Not everyone likes a nice blonde roast, but it's the least roasted. If that makes sense.
So hold on.
But what I'm talking about is like when you are actually physically making the coffee and you get watered down coffee.
Yeah.
Strength wise.
What I'm saying is, when leaving the science of it outside, because you can go through an explanation and visual examples and the whole thing. Say if people don't like strong coffee, you should always be using the correct bean to water ratio. What you should do is water your coffee down, not before, but after. If your coffee's too strong for you, brew it the same and then add water after it's already been brewed. If you want to water your coffee. But people don't do that. They're like, no, I'll just add less grounds. That's going to result in a more bitter coffee, believe it or not.
But if you're running 10 whole cups of coffee through the same filter that you would run, or the same filter with the same amount of roast in it that you would run, like, say, 4 cups of coffee, that's going to water it down more so than not. So you have to put more grounds in.
With more water.
Yes, with more water. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You're diluting it more.
It does, and we're not disagreeing, but I'm going to come back with next week with visual examples to demonstrate how.
All right. That's fine. So I see we have 27 people in the chat right now. We have Lion Patriot. We have Kin the Cultist. We have Irate Prostate. We have Ryan Waiters. Walters. That's an L, not an I. I can't read. Polly, I'm out of school for like half of a weekend, and this is what happens.
It goes that fast for you? Damn.
Wee!
1 year after graduation, all of a sudden, Weebo is reading BuzzFeed poorly.
Oh, gosh. You know what's funny, actually? All right. I am one of those kids that couldn't read until like 3rd grade, and I'm not even kidding about that. I am an actual retard in the actual traditional sense. Does that make sense? I was delayed.
I just started reading it. It's like coffee is just on the edge. Coffee is best just on the edge of bitterness, Lion Patriot says. I wholeheartedly agree. There should be some bitter in there. It's part of the bouquet. Yes. And then Sugar says, less coffee, more talkie.
That's fair.
All right. I hear you. It's cool. And then Jim Beams in chat, which is a nice sign because my Covfefe has bourbon.
Hot diggity.
Yes.
Oh, so is everyone delayed?
You said you were delayed.
Yeah. No. As a kid reading, I was very delayed, and part of that is I don't want to take all the credit for me being a retard. All right. I would like to give some ownership to my mother who put me through a Montessori school. Are you familiar with the concept, Polly?
No, but this sounds very hippie-esque.
Oh, it is. So The concept of Montessori school, from what I understand, is self-teaching.
Okay.
As in, the kids get all of the time in the world to do whatever the heckin' that they want at their own pace, under their own guidance. Which means that, yeah, we got silent reading time, but it wasn't like people were sitting with us, helping us read along with things, or however it is that people get taught how to read in their early days, right? We were just given books and told to go read, as if we knew how to read already.
How old were you at this point?
So I left the school at 2nd grade and then started public school for the first time at 3rd grade, and I was very behind everyone else. Yeah. Thank you, Zerial, for the $5 over on the super chats, and my fire log just fell down. Thief Attack, Polly, oops, wrong stream. Love what you do, Weebo. Oh, thank you. And also, Sad Face, Pepe Rip for the nameless thief who I'm somewhat acquainted with. I get that reference. Understood that. Does that mean I have to sneak attack Polly or something? Like, actually? Might take me a little bit because I don't feel like in a very combative mood. Maybe later, Polly.
It's named after somebody.
A Montessori school? Oh, you're looking it up?
I am. Well, of course.
Of course. Yeah, so the idea is self-teaching, from what I understand. They had 1st through 3rd graders all in the same classroom together, like as a group, because I guess they couldn't get enough of one group of students into a room at this specialized school or whatever. And so we were given these task sheets weekly that we could choose and select what it was that we wanted to do weekly from, and then get it signed off by our teachers when it was that we finished. But basically, it was unscripted, untethered learning for students. They just go around the room and learn things, however it was that their sheet told them to, by themselves. And so as a result, I didn't do a lot of learning. It wasn't exactly the best setting for me. Apparently my brother thrived in this setting, but me not so much. I need to like watch an example of someone doing something before I understand how to do it, or at least read along with somebody before it is that I learn how to read. I have the same problem when it comes to reading music notes and stuff. I'm dyslexic basically when it comes to reading music notes, but I have like near perfect pitch, perfect pitch matching in my ear. So I can just follow along if I listen to a song once or twice or 3 times, and it's easy, but I can't read for shit. So yeah, I'm a little bit delayed in that regard. That doesn't sound like a good idea, said Quinn the cultist. No, it's not really. I don't know if the school is still open, actually. Self-teaching might work in high school, but not little kids. Well, yeah, that was that's a big part of the issue, right? I think Montessori schooling relies heavily on the parents doing a lot of stuff at home with their kids, which completely defeats the purpose of sending a kid to school, mind you. But my mother and my father didn't realize this, or I guess at least the information was never conveyed to them that that's what they had to do. And my mother certainly wasn't going to lift a finger to actually contribute to my education in that regard. My dad did read with me and work with me after they divorced and we switched schools to public schools. He worked with me night and day and my brother to get us to the level that we were supposed to be at, reading and all of the other subjects wise, because that's what you're supposed to do. And then in 3rd grade, the end of the school year, I had finished like the first 3 Harry Potter books, I think. So I had drastically caught up to and then surpassed my fellow students in the span of a year with just a little bit of like specialized attention in that regard. So retarded in the traditional sense, but also super fast in the traditional sense. That makes sense. Are you still looking it up, Polly?
No, I've finished reading that. Mm-hmm. It sounds very... Okay, well, as often is the case with certain things, the summation of all that you need if you're not trying to do a deep dive on something can be found on Wikipedia for non-contentious topics. When it comes to anything political or anything other than that, no, don't trust Wikipedia. But although a range of practices exist under the name Montessori, the Association Montessori International and the American Montessori Society cite these elements as essential. This is great, chat. Check this out. Student choice of activity from within a prescribed range of options, as previously described by Weebs. Uninterrupted blocks of work time, ideally 3 hours. A constructivist or discovery model, where students learn concepts from working with materials rather than by direct instruction. Specialized educational materials developed by Montessori and her collaborators, i.e. comrades, often made out of natural aesthetic materials such as wood rather than plastic. A thoughtfully prepared environment where materials are organized by subject area within reach of the child.
Yep.
Freedom within limits.
Yeah.
And a trained Montessori teacher who understands the way Marxism works and is able to indoctrinate the proletariat. Okay, I get you.
Yeah. Dado Jones must have been proud when his Weebo could read, says Lion Patriot. Yeah, he's very proud. He actually has... Oh my gosh. He brings that story up all the freaking time. He's like, my little girl, when she was in 3rd grade, only reading 18 words a minute, not even close to the rest of the kids in the classroom. And by the end of the year, she's just eating up books like it's candy or something. Wow. Can you guys hear that dishwasher? It suddenly got really loud and I'm scared.
No, it's fine. I can barely hear it in the background. Maybe chat can hear it more than I can, but it's a low hum at worst.
Okay. Chat, let me know if it's bad. And if it gets bad, then I can just restart it later. It's fine. And I'm home alone. I'm actually in my cabin in the woods by myself with Daphne. She's on the couch right now, chilling.
How cozy.
Oh, yes. I tried to start a fire, but it keeps going out. The reason being is because the wood's a little bit moist.
And your tiny girl brain. I understand.
No, I know how to start a fire. It's just I didn't dry out the wood before I brought it in. So I'm going to have a bitchin' of a time getting it started later. I'm going to have to nurse it back to life, tender love and care, a little bit of that, some, jabbing with the fire poker, see if I can get it started and maybe blow it with the blower.
And I love the thinking. I still go back to my tiny girl brain comment. I stole that from Jack Walker. It's his ongoing thing. I didn't dry the wood out before I brought it in, but it's okay. I'll give it tender loving care and ask it about its feelings. It'll work.
I didn't say anything about its feelings. I literally in that same sentence, I talked about poking it with a fire poker. That's the opposite.
I'm surprised you didn't say gently prod it and encourage it to do its best.
Come on, little flames, just a little higher. No, I have lighter fluid somewhere if I really need to get it going. Just have a nice stream of that.
Smoke like hell. There you go.
Yeah. Sanguine, thank you for the $5 over on the Streamlabs. What are you telling me, Weebo? Is that you have issues what you are telling me, Weebo, is that you have issues reading? Say it ain't so. How could we have ever known the professional learn how to read segment? God, that was a nightmare. And I didn't even mean to do that. That was just, ooh. Yeah, obviously, I have regressed since I learned how to read in 3rd grade, and now I'm back at my beginning of the year 3rd grade reading level. It's bad. Polly, don't judge me.
So, did you hear this clip of Steve Harvey talking the other day?
No. Wait, what happened?
Yeah. Now you know whom of the Steve Harvey whom I speak. You know what I mean, right?
Steve Harvey, Family Feud. Steve Harvey.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
He says in this interview, I don't really think that we can, that we should be or can give Republicans credit for ending slavery because you have the current president, a Republican, Donald Trump, trying to bring it back.
Pardon?
Yeah, that's right.
How do?
I know.
What is? Explain.
I don't know. Like he didn't. It was the host of the show was clearly somebody who agreed with him. It's one of them mutual agreement fests that pass for conversation or news in current year, and they all just went, yeah.
It's not in wave, boys. Not in wave.
And I'm like,
in what way?
That's what I'm saying. Like it just.
Like of all of the claims about our dear president, God Emperor, that seems rather far-fetched.
Little bit. When I heard that clip, the first thing I thought was, this is one of the best examples of Trump derangement syndrome that I've come across in a little while. Because the man, I mean, come on. Even with a modicum, tiny little amount of criticism or analysis, you should be able to like, hey man, in what way? Well, he's kind of a racist. Okay, bring slavery back. Like, why don't you play a clip for me of Donald Trump saying, I don't like black people. Like anything, any little thing that would like, I'm not even saying like slavery, just to get him saying anything that's insulting towards the African-American demographic. This is like what supporting the Central Park people and that whole case of the 6 youths and so forth. What, like, that's your example of racism? I mean, it's not even like, even if you call the guy a racist, how does that equate to bringing slavery back? It just, it's so melodramatic and exaggerated and full of shit that I can only think that this is an example of Trump derangement syndrome.
Well, obviously, it's a prime example of Trump derangements. Mother syndrome. There we go. Got it. Works. Yeah. Apparently, I can't speak either. That's another problem that we have in the Weebo family. Apparently, even if we were to admit, right, if we were to hypothetically say in a world where reality is not a thing, admit that the president, dear God Emperor Trump, the Donald, were a racist. Like, full stop. No wiggle room there. It's a long road to get to, or to get from, yes, he's a racist, to he's bringing slavery back. Because there's a lot of ground to cover within that. And
I think there's a lot of ground
and slavery are not mutually exclusive, like you get one, you have the other type of things.
Well, but this
at all.
And that's what I mean. Start, like you said, there's too much ground to cover. Start simple. The man doesn't like hip hop, therefore he doesn't like, I mean,
and build a case from there.
Well, something. Like, he didn't even try, and the people he was talking to didn't even push back. They just went, yeah.
Nod and wave.
It's the same kind of thinking, as an example where somebody would say, okay, I remember when Piers Morgan and Jim Jeffries were on Bill Maher's show, that awful travesty of an attempt at comedy show.
What are you talking about? Real Time with Bill Maher is the greatest live show on the face of this planet. Polly, how dare you?
Work on your sarcastic voice. I was taking you seriously there for a second.
I have my dad's sense of humor. It's very dry wit.
Piers Morgan says, come on, what has he really done?
The
what
best
are you
James Bond?
About?
Piers Morgan?
No, Piers Morgan, the English tabloidist.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Wrong name.
So this is, what has he really done? I hear all this talk, all these horrible things about like opening up the death camps and something. This is just obviously exaggerated. And Jim Jeffries looking to score points with his leftist buddies because he's gone full left now in a way that he never was before. And now he's virtue signaling like crazy. If you know any of that.
Sometimes.
Say what?
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah. And he just, come on. Even Hitler didn't start killing the Jews on the first day. He worked his way up to it. Come on, mate. You're just happy that you've got a famous friend. Get fucked. And the audience is like, woo! All the clapping seals all applaud because the sign told them to. And it's that kind of, it's like, wait a minute. Jim Jeffries, are you trying to tell me that if somebody comes up to you after Trump loses the 2020 election or is done in 2024 and says, okay, so where were those death camps and where were the mass attempts at extinguishing the Hispanic population in the United States? Like,
I guess that's a work in progress, obviously, Polly.
Well, but that's what I mean. It's like, show me any evidence of that. You were obviously shooting your mouth off in the worst way somebody could. You're talking about a national leader of any country, and you're comparing them to the worst national leader in fairly recent memory, even though I could argue that Stalin was worse. But
I was just gonna say, hey now.
I agree with opinionated Scotsman. Jim Jeffries used to be funny. Yeah, he did, until he decided that I'm not going to be doing stand-up really anymore. I'm going to be doing the Jim Jeffries show, and I'm on Comedy Central. And now I live in Southern California, so now he's a certain kind of guy. And unfortunately, it's very predictable the kind of guy he's become.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now the sink is draining for no reason. I'm gonna die, people. The end is nigh. It's been nice knowing you all.
Hey, Weebo.
What?
You are now quote tweeted on the internet saying, I am a retard.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's up on Twitter.
It's fine. It's not a big deal. I have no shame. It's all good. I've been quoted saying a lot worse things, Polly. All right, so that's like that is like the shallow end of the the bad Weebo quotes pool that we find ourselves in this evening. Well, it'll get a lot worse.
I have a lot of sympathy for being quoted out of context. If you go over to Varzusmi's channel, there's an entire series of videos where I am quoted out of context and put together, and just look. You'd have to go watch them, the Ploy Jr. videos over on Farzusmi's channel, taking voice clips and editing them together with a drunken plushy otter stumbling around, saying and doing all sorts of weird things.
I think I've seen a few of them, and they're always Such a laugh, such a hoot. I enjoy them immensely. I wish someone would do that with me.
No, don't ask the internet to mock. They're very good at it.
I know. And if I ask them to mock me, they won't do it. So I've been asking, I know this because I've been asking them to do it for years. And it's just like, no fan art for you. It's okay. I'm only a little emotional about it, guys.
So you're up at your cabin. Tell me, I'm a big fan of cabins and rafters in the ceiling and fireplaces and the like.
All right. I'll tell you about my cabin in the woods. It's built.
Did you chop your own wood?
No. The boys did that for me before they left. Actually, okay, there's a long ass story that goes behind that, but like an even longer ass story that goes behind, like, that covers the whole of the cabin shenanigans, right? So it was built 1974 by my grandfather.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome.
And he used to own, I believe it was like 2 acres of property, expanding on either side of the cabin, and then enough to go down to like the lake that we all spend our time on. And a bit after they built this place, we call it the chalet. We didn't need as much land as we had, so I think he gave about maybe in half an acre on either side to 2 family friends that wanted to build their own places on either side. So back that way, we have neighbors that are like ancient family friends, basically just family. That side, we have neighbors that are basically also family friends, neighbors, whatever. And for the longest time, it was just these 3 dwellings. And then my aunt got married to her husband, had 3 kids. My dad got married to my mother, had 2 kids. And then, the family started growing, so we needed more land. And at some point, my other cousins decided to buy the lot that direction and just camp out there for whatever reason.
Why didn't you just appropriate from the natives who lived there?
Okay, it's funny, but like at the end of the century, we're probably going to own the next half a square mile of land in either direction as a family, as a collective. And we're just going to close down the street, and then it's going to be our own little personal subdivision. It's kind of nuts. But so we just kept appropriating land. Yes, essentially we are the colonizers, the settler.
Did you build playgrounds and campfire zones on top of their sacred burial sites and everything?
No, we built the biggest garage that we were legally allowed to build over there to house all of the snowmobiles, the boats, the jet skis, and all of the tools and shit. And then a tiny little A-frame model that direction that used to be a treehouse for like if we just want to shove 2 people into a place and not into the house in the middle of the summer.
Okay,
yeah, the Weebo family cult is growing.
It's you and I talking to the rich girl. Okay, just so everybody knows. Okay.
Oh wow, thanks.
Well, the snowmobiles and the Aston Martin back there, and then
all of them are like 20 years old, barely run, need to be like toggled in just the right way and like caressed with the slightest amount of WD-40 in order to get it to actually run. It's not like they're brand new or that they run perfectly. They need a lot of love and care and maybe some thwacks with the ratchet before they get started.
And Jeeves is too lazy to go do that in between polishing your silverware?
Actually, that's Nana Weebo. Okay, but so one weekend out of every year, the boys come up by themselves, and there are a lot of men in the family, so that's a lot of men. And they have this thing called Lumberjack Weekend. It's basically what it sounds like. They just chop down a whole bunch of trees, chop them up into firewood, lay them in this big-ass pile, and then all of us in this little commune, we all use the firewood for the next, year. So I just grabbed a whole thing and filled up the wood wheel this afternoon. I didn't have to lift much of a finger. I just had to wheelbarrow everything up. That was it. Oh, and we're getting rated from Eve. Thanks, Eve. Love you.
I could hardly be rated by anyone better.
Common sense, rich white woman control. I own none of this. I am using this piece of property that my grandmother owns that's not going to me at all when she dies. It's going to my dad and his sister. And I own none of the boats or the jet skis or the wave runners, all right? Or those are the same thing. Or the snowmobiles.
The hell's a wave runner?
It's a jet ski. That's what we call it. I own none of the things. I just use the things. And I'm not allowed to break the things.
This is what they call generational wealth.
Yes.
It's basically. Like your whole family owns it. So it's like, I own none of these things, but I have complete access to them, and eventually when everyone dies, they will be mine.
Yeah, but I get taxed on them like a heckin' of a lot when they do. So
oh well. Yeah, I'm not a fan of death taxes. They really bug me. It's like that income's already been taxed. I know that's the argument everybody makes, but it's true, goddammit. I mean,
it is.
It's like, but we haven't taxed it as income to you.
But we purchased it like 20 years ago, and now it's going to me. So it's already been taxed, and it's not like it's accrued any wealth in any of that time. It's actually like lost wealth, because vehicles depreciate in value over time. So, yeah.
Well, now I can hear your damn dishwasher.
Okay, I'm gonna go shut it off.
No, it's fine. I'm just trying to make you anxious.
It just keeps getting louder.
But the dishes are getting cleaner, so it all makes sense.
Holly, I think it's going to explode. It's been going for an hour and a half.
It's fine, Weebs. I'm just bugging you.
Anyway. Juliander, actually, inheritance tax does kick in before 3 million if it skips a generation. So if any of that is willed to me after my grandmother passes, because it's all in her name for the most part, actually, no. The vehicles are owned by my dad or my uncle or my aunt. So I would just get property theoretically. But if it skips a generation, you do get taxed on that. It's not for direct descendants. It's after that. I learned that after Grandpa Jones on the other side passed.
Grandpa Jones.
Yeah.
No, I believe you. It just sounds like a character off of Sesame Street.
Grandpa Jones.
Yeah. Speaking of Sesame Street, did you hear how one of the characters now is a mother that's an opioid addict?
Yeah, that's family friendly. I heard about that.
It's like that's such an unnecessarily dark background story for a character on Sesame Street.
Yeah. And I never really watched Sesame Street as a kid, but it doesn't strike me as something that you would include in Sesame Street. Even though Sesame Street does deal with like some really heavy shit. Like, wasn't Christopher Reeves on Sesame Street at one point?
Like in his
after
wheelchair?
The accident. Yeah.
Really?
I do believe that was the case. I know they deal with heavy stuff, but they
did, and I remember when I was a kid that they had a regular guest because there's the Muppets and the humans, the people, what I mean, and they all interact. It was a woman, and she was bald because she had cancer and was going through chemotherapy. And they said cancer, but they just said like, I'm just very, very sick. And it's like, oh, does that mean I'm going to get sick? And it's like, no, this is and they use it as like this teaching thing, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. That makes sense for kids. Like as a little kid, I got that. It made sense. It fit into my little mindset. Like children can get the idea of there's sick and then there's very, very sick. And then the friendly Muppets who you all like and associate with go, oh, I'm not going to get sick just because you have this thing. And I hope you get better. And it's like, I hope I do too. And that was it. But when it's like, my mother does all the drugs in the world and is gambled away my college fund, and she runs around with strange men. I mean, that doesn't fit into a kid's mental world. Like, what the hell? That's my opinion anyway. I don't know.
I have mixed opinions on such matters because I don't think kids. I'm one of those, and it sounds bad, but I really think that kids should be kids for as long as they possibly can. Maybe gently exposed to the world of ugliness that is out there at a reasonable pace, but never like super exposed to it in such a way that it's, Jesus. Why is it going off again? Anyway, but not in such a way that it's like they're inundated with it or extremely, not in a prolific way. Sure, get them to a level where they can understand what's going on to some degree and maybe sympathize a little bit, be kind, and all that jazz. But I still think kids should be allowed to be kids. Like, don't teach your kids that the world is going to end in the next 18 months, please and thank you, because that'll just ruin their day. All right?
How dare you take their childhood?
I'm taking the childhood? Yeah. Okay. Don't involve them in the middle of a heated custody disagreement at the age of 8, all right? Maybe? You think? That's not a personal lived experience that I am totally venting about at the moment. Don't expose them to, this is going to get super heavy, don't expose them to like super sexually explicit stuff at such a young age either. Like there are lines you do not cross with children at that age, or at the age that it is that I'm assuming people watch Sesame Street. Just don't, right? Because kids deserve to be kids, unencumbered by these issues and nonsense. I mean, they might have an awareness of it, and if they have a genuine curiosity about it, then sure, explain it to them in a very watered down way. But don't go out of your way to expose them to something that they're not ready for at that age.
I have a meme for this.
You have a meme for this?
I do have a meme for this. And you're going to have to share the screen because you're in charge of our situation here. There it is.
Yep, I got you. You have stolen my dreams and my childhood. Getting that cobalt for your electric car as fast as I can, Greta. Oh my God. I don't know how I feel about this. Making fun of clearly taking advantage of a young child in such a way. But also you're taking advantage of clearly taking advantage of young child in such a way as well. So.
Well, it's not making fun of the kid on the bottom whose childhood is actually ruined digging for cobalt.
I know.
That's, you know what I mean? It's making fun of Greta with that shirt you're wearing that was made in a Chinese sweatshop populated by Asian children.
Yeah, but do you think that she actually knows that that's a thing? Like, there's got to be some lack of awareness for her. Like, she's got to have an elementary level understanding of exactly how messed up the entirety of the world is, and only that level of understanding, no more. Therefore, the words that are coming out of her mouth don't seem ironic to her like they do us. So,
I would argue that. I mean, there's a lot of my dad is very fond of saying, he'll say something and then why don't you try this, and like I'll get that. Oh yeah, I should go that, and he'll go, and that is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Mm-hmm. he's very fond of pointing that out to me. But he's not wrong. Like, I get the idea. It's not an increased knowledge. It's an ability to connect pieces of information that wisdom is, that experience is, that comes with age. And so that's why Greta can, how dare you, you've taken my childhood. And like, she has all the information conceivably that an adult might have, but isn't assessing it in the same way.
I did not see this. Thank you, Beware Atheist, for the $20. Good night from Fort Lee. Well, good night and good evening, sir.
Wow,
I gotta keep an eye on the super chats in the super chat, because for whatever reason, StreamYard doesn't differentiate.
I love how when I put up a good meme, Zelthor's like, send me that later. I need that meme.
And then Sanguine.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you for the Streamlabs. Kids should be exposed to tragedy the way I was. The awesome shield bearer that they have become attached to is brutally murdered. The hero that saved people time and time again dies strangling a dragon, and another hero is killed by donning center hide. What? Oh. Wait. Hang on.
Gonna try that again?
The awesome shield bearer that they have become attached to is brutally murdered. The hero that saved people time and time again dies strangling a dragon, and another hero is killed by donning centaur hide. Is that a reference to a book? I feel like that's a reference to a book.
It sounds like a very specific reference, honestly.
It does.
Which one? I don't know.
I don't know where that came from. Sanguine. I need to know. I'm curious now. That sounds like an epic book. God, it sounds like it came straight out of Greek mythology, though. Maybe. It probably didn't. She was offering up ideas on how to change it. She threw a temper tantrum, and everyone went, "Okay, honey, we'll save the planet." Mustafa says, "Yeah." The whole Greta situation is dearly unfortunate.
Do you feel that she was robbed by not winning the Nobel Peace Prize for 2019?
God, no. What did she do that would have merited a Nobel Peace Prize?
Well,
like, I could do exactly what she did.
This isn't exactly the Nobel Prize for literature or physics. This is the Nobel Peace Prize. It's
just the Peace Prize.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, you have to keep in mind, like Yasser Arafat won, Barack Obama won for showing up. Do you remember the wording for Barack Obama winning?
No, I don't. That was before I started paying attention to anything relevant in politics.
It was words to the effect of "for inspiring an environment of international diplomacy and peace."
Oh.
And it was like, what? Yeah, I don't blame you that that's the best you could come up with because you didn't have much to work with. I get you. You know, and Yasser Arafat wins it for deciding to not run a terrorist organization as much as he had been for the previous decades.
Okay, hang on. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed received the Nobel Peace Prize for initiatives that included ending a 20-year military standoff with Eritrea. Greta Thunberg loses out on Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, I feel like he deserved it a lot more than she did.
Yeah, you
don't just get to show up and then suddenly get nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. You gotta
it was for his efforts to achieve peace and international cooperation, particularly for his decisive initiative to resolve the border conflict with neighboring made-up land, Eritrea. And how long has Eritrea been a country? Let's find out.
Thank you, Sanguine. 3 of them, Prince Valiant's. Oh my God, 3 of them, Prince Valiant's Shieldbearer, then Beowulf, and lastly one of the deaths of Hercules. That one of the Roman tellings, not a proper. Gratian 1. Oh, and the awesome gods dying horrendous deaths, Ragnarok, and a smith being crippled, Wayland. Okay, all right, hang on. Yes, I recall another hero's toning centaur hide. I vaguely remember Beowulf. One of the deaths of Hercules, that one of the Roman tellings. Oh, that one was one of the Roman tellings. Yeah, okay, all right.
Eritrea. Informally separated from Ethiopia in 1991 and became its own state by law in 93.
Cool, I guess. I just know it's a country. I don't know anything about it. Kind of how it is that I know most of my information.
Oh my God, we've lost Weebo. Oh my God, she's back.
It's fine. Did you not notice I was gone?
No.
All right, what did he say?
I didn't have that screen up, and I'm like, wait a minute, what just happened? And so I bring that screen back. I have limited screen space, rich girl.
So do I. All I can display is the StreamYard's page and then the Streamlabs dashboard.
No, I know. I'm just bugging you.
We're fine. It's okay. I just had a boomer moment. You know how it be sometimes.
I do know how you be.
Oh no, I've been clipped. Oh wait, what does it say?
This was the clip I'm talking about where you're a retard.
Oh, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what I... What did you think?
I thought you meant I was quoted, not that I was actually clipped saying I was a retard.
What I like is how you're looking off to the left, your right, going, in the Weebo family, I'm a retard.
Do we know that it is really Weebo and not a skinwalker? Well, I guess we'll never know. We can't know. Not really, anyway. Hercules saves one of the wives from a centaur as it's dying. It convinces his wife to make a cloak from his hide to make Hercules a god, but it burns him to death, Weebo. Okay. Yeah, I do not recall this version. I do remember there was a version, or not a version, but there was a Greek story that had to do with it's like a shawl or a robe or something laced with acid that burned the daughter of one of the Greek city-states, or the daughter of one of the kings of the Greek city-states. It had to do with the story. Oh God, what was her face? I'm totally blanking on this. It's late, and I've had too much schnapps. Starts with a J.
Django Fett?
No.
No.
It's funny because I was actually at the fountain where she jumped in after she was burned alive by the cloak. So to say, like, who knows if that was actually the case? But legend has it. I have pictures of it.
I have pictures, damn it! I was there.
I have pictures of the archaeological site. Ugh. And now it's gonna bug me.
You know, speaking of archaeology.
Yes. Sorry.
What is this? Who's the guy who discovered Troy? The archaeologist?
Heinrich Schliemann.
Is that it? Schliemann?
Heinrich Schliemann. Yeah.
So I'm listening to the History of Rome podcast, and they get up to the end of Augustus's reign. You know, Octavian, Gaius Julius, Augustus. Depends on who you were, what you called them. You know how it is. And the rise of Germanicus and Tiberius and who's going to be his successor. And it's like, he spent his time going around and he went and visited the ruins of Troy. And I'm like, whoa. I thought Troy was lost to history up until the point of, like, you mean to tell me the Romans in the 1st century AD knew where Troy was and then everyone just done forgot until Schleiermacher came along?
Schliemann. Thank you very much.
Schliemann.
So it is entirely possible from what we know that the Troy that we're familiar with was one of many Troys in a hierarchical succession of Troys that had fallen. Does that make sense?
Like York and New York?
Not quite. Like, so
I do
we have Troy 1 all the way at the bottom of the stack of Troys. Yes, thank you, Sanguine, Jason, and Medea. That was the legend that I was thinking about, and I couldn't for the life of me remember it. But we have Troy 1 at the bottom of the stack, and that's the oldest Troy. And then at some point, Troy 1 got burnt to a crisp and what have you, destroyed, what have you. Then they rebuilt that city on top of the old city. And then they just kept doing that.
He discovered the layer of the archaeological dig that conforms with the Greek-Trojan War.
Thinks that... Yes and no. The site where Troy was, sure, we'll give him credit for discovering that. But as if he did, in fact, discover the city of Troy, we don't actually 100% know, because we don't actually 100% know that the actual Trojan War occurred. Certainly there was probably some sort of conflict, but we can't pinpoint exactly which level it was that was the Troy that burned. Because the end of the Trojan War, they burned down the city, right?
Sure.
But when Heinrich Schliemann actually excavated the city of Troy, he dug past all of the initial levels to the very bottom, where he found and claimed to have found the city of Troy, effectively just barreling down through, I think it was 8 different levels past all of this other history. It's very, very bad archaeology. No one uses it as like a point of pride. It's always like mentioned with this cringe and just an audible like, ooh, no, bad.
Because he was very colonial in his archaeology.
It's just, he barreled right through it. We know. The thing about archaeology is that you're not supposed to just barrel through things. It's supposed to take time. It's supposed to be effortful, and it's supposed to be tedious and annoying to get through.
They push off dust with a paintbrush. I've seen it, yes.
Exactly. You're not supposed to go in with a freaking bulldozer and just dig your way to the bottom because you want to get to the coolest thing first.
I agree with Lion Patriot. Troy 6 was best Troy. I mean, it was completely ruined. I mean, just trying to go back to original Troy. I'll be right back. I need more Covfefe.
Jacob Jet, is that a World of Outlaws shirt I see? Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that someone finally recognized it. You know, I've been wearing these shirts on streams for forever, and no one ever mentions anything about sprint car races, because I could talk an entire day and a half about that shit. I was at Eldora Speedway last summer for the King's Royal race, all right? When everyone thought that was gonna be Donny Shots. But no. I don't think it was Donny Shots. I can't remember. Oh god, I was so drunk. But yeah, it's a World of Outlaws t-shirt. I got it this last summer while I was there. If there's a question about this, I probably know the answer. It is one of my Mini-Spurg specialties, Weebo. Sanguine, I also know a lot, but I also forget a lot. And so my retrieval is absolute shit, as you guys all know. So it takes me a little bit of time to actually get to it. So I have to prime me to remember things before it is that we're talking about them. So if we're going to talk about Greek mythology, I got to know beforehand that we're talking about Greek mythology. I remember you tweeting about that. Yeah, I was there, Jacob. But you're familiar with World of Outlaws. Then we must discuss. Also, have you ever gone to a sprint car race? Well, that's probably a silly question. You probably have. But where have you gone, is my question. My dad loves that stuff. He lives for it, honestly. Zalafoil Blind. If you dig straight down, you'll hit lava. Bad idea. Much agreed. Yes. Don't dig straight down. You want to dust off every layer as if it were, I don't know what it would be. There's no comparison. Because archaeology is very specific in the way that it's done. It's just, you want to painstakingly brush off each layer so you don't miss anything. Because you can very easily miss something.
Yeah, you need to carefully, painstakingly categorize all of it, crate it up, and ship it back to your home country as the spoils of conquest.
Okay, that's actually not... Polly. Polly.
Yes.
Do we need to have a discussion about the ownership of the past?
It belongs in the British Museum.
All of it?
Whatever they could get their hands on.
That's actually... Okay, hang on. That's actually a really interesting conversation to have, right? Who owns the past in terms of archaeological discoveries? Is it the people that find them? Is it the people that live on that land now? Or is it the ancient societies that no longer exist that own their artifacts?
I would say the answer is, in my opinion, the answer is the third. But since they're not around, possession becomes 99/100ths of the law.
Yeah.
Listen, I have very little sympathy for the Supreme Council on Antiquities in Egypt claiming that the British should really return all of this stuff. No, they shouldn't. Why? The progeny of a bunch of Arab invaders own the artifacts of ancient Egypt? No, they don't.
All right. Take Egypt out of the question.
Okay.
What about when the British came over to Greece and decided to grab all of the statues for themselves? Does Greece deserve their artifacts back?
I don't know. One moment.
Finders keepers. That's not how this works. It's actually a very contentious issue between countries, believe it or not. It's part of the reason why archaeological digs are so difficult to actually go on, and they take an abysmal amount of time to organize and then actually get permission for and funding and all that jazz. The dead own nothing. It should be owned by those best able to preserve it, Weebo Jones. Interesting. You know, I have this discussion with Balik all the time because his field of study is archaeology, underwater archaeology to be specific, but archaeology nonetheless. So it's a little bit less contentious for him in his line of work. But his belief is that there should be some sort of like, and it sounds very communistic in nature, but a collective initiative of people who just traveling exhibits all over the world. Our artifacts are owned by no one because no one can technically lay claim to a past that wasn't theirs, of people who are long dead. So traveling archaeological exhibits all over the world is his chosen solution to this problem. Although I don't think it would actually work in the way that he wants it to, because the coordination alone would be a nightmare. The cooperation itself would be just zilch, next to nothing.
Okay, poly boomer moment.
Yeah, what happened?
Weeb, stop talking over me. Weeb, stop talking. Oh, my mic is still muted. So do the Greeks own their own statues?
So the ones I'm specifically discussing are the ones from like the Parthenon, right? All right, not the Parthenon, but the building next to the Parthenon.
Yeah, it's fine. Listen, the Athenians are dead, yo.
Are they? There are quite a many Athenian living in Athens at this moment.
Well, see, I take a pretty strong view on these things. It's like if you've been to the British Museum or have seen some of the virtual tours you can do online, which are actually very good, by the way.
Yeah.
The curation of those artifacts is quite good. Yeah, I get that a lot of British archaeologists were archaeologists is a nice name that has been cast back on what really could be described as adventurers more than anything. They were going about and X marks the spot. A lot of them were treasure seekers, adventurers, international dilettantes and so forth. But the point is that they're very well cared for. Greece is an interesting example. That's actually really interesting you bring it up because Greece hasn't had the problems politically, economically, and socially that a lot of the other countries have. For example, a lot of the Middle Eastern archaeological sites, I would rather have them falling under the control, care, curation, and auspices of the British than I would under an Islamic state, because they tend to blow them up, as graven images, etc., where the British, even when they were extremely staunch Protestants, were not blowing shit up. They didn't find the mummification rituals of the ancient Egyptians to be some kind of heresy. They were very, the cultural approach to it. Greece, though, is different. Why you taking their shit? It's not like it was in danger of being exploded, or not cared for. So that's a good one, actually.
Thank you. The next 6 minutes, phantomizing for the $2 over in the super chats. Pantomiming a scary creature directing traffic. Lol. Is that supposed to be me? I don't know. But yeah, so like what I'm specifically referring to, right, is we all know Greece has the Parthenon, the big boy, and a lot of the oh crap, what are they called? The pediments, the things that are supposed to represent different stories from Greek mythology, that are decorating the top portions of the Parthenon and the parts,
the friezes.
The friezes and the pediments themselves. A great deal of those those pediments, the panels themselves, were taken by the British when they came to Greece, and then I guess they're now displayed in the British Archaeology Museum or whatever. In addition to some of the like I think it was like maybe 5 of the 6 females on the for the life of me, I can't remember what it is, but it's the building right next to the Parthenon. Oh God, it's gonna kill me now. It starts with an E. Sanguine, help!
What?
I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up. It's gonna be a whole thing.
There's a full scale replica Parthenon in Nashville, Tennessee. That's awesome, Ari.
Yeah, complete with a Priscilla Pentine statue and all that jazz.
That's sweet.
Mm-hmm. It was this right here. I show it to you. I gotta share the screen. Share the screen. Application window. It's this one. Share. You see? Right here. Right. These statues right here, these lovely ladies right here, they're replicas. They're not the original ones. They were taken by the British. Polly.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay.
I just you stopped mid sentence. I'm like, go on. They were taken by the British.
They were taken by the British, and oh my gosh, I just fucked this up. We're gonna stop sharing because I can't, for whatever reason, figure out how to internet correctly. Polly, it's bad. Oh my gosh, how do I get out of here? There we go. I did it. It's yes, the Erectheum. The Erecthean. Oh God, my Greek is so rusty.
Later, irate prostate.
What up?
No, it's bye for real now. I'm like, okay, laters.
Oh, bye. Oh, sleeping out at 06. Thief, how the hell are you? I got a 2 a.m. shift. Need to sleep. Lol. Well, go to sleep. Don't let me keep you up. We're just talking about archaeology. It'll be here when you get back. Obviously, it's archaeology.
I see what you did there, Weeps. And you know why it'll be there when you get back? Because the British have it, and they take good care of these things.
You just say that because you're biased.
I take a bias towards the British. How so?
You have a thing for that kind of look.
Well,
in women, at least.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
classical beauty is like in the capital C classical beauty is fantastic. Hey, a woman in a toga. I'm all for it. Have you ever been to a toga party, Weebs? You're in college?
No, I've not. I steer clear of parties at school.
No, really? The bare bow arm on a lady is rather fetching, I must say.
Oh, well, I'll have to take your word for it because 1, I'm not into ladies, and 2, I'm not into partying.
Well, I mean, there's dudes walking around in togas too, and you go ahead and find whatever you like about them attractive. I'm personally not looking.
Well, I already have a dude, and he is Greek.
You're missing the point of so much in this.
Am I?
Yeah, really.
Am I?
I'm talking aesthetic beauty, not desire to go.
Those aren't the same thing?
Connect whatchamacallits to hoo-has. No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
No?
Because you find a piece of architecture cool doesn't mean you want to go fuck it. Yes, aesthetic appreciation is not the same as
you don't know me. Okay, no, you do. You're right. Okay, that's fair.
There's between eroticism and aesthetic. Hey, that's cool.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Ryan Walters is right. Bring the toga back, which brings me to another topic since we do word association discussion here on Cocktail Hour. Because we've been drinking, so it'd be like that.
I'm almost out, actually. This is quite sad.
Well, that's why I went and refilled. I wasn't going to. Please.
Of course not.
I've been told so many times that fashion is cyclical. If it's out of fashion, just wait. It'll come back in.
Is it, though?
Well, see, that's the question. Because I've been waiting for the hooded cloak to come back in, and it's been centuries now.
Polly, what are you talking about? All you have to do to get a hooded cloak cloak is you have to go to a place where they have a lot of snow. And
You mean like Aragorn? Like what?
No, just somewhere north. And maybe it's not like a cloak in the traditional sense, but it's modeled after that. You got the big old hoods.
Well, okay,
it's not going to be exact, Polly. All right.
Yeah, but fashion is all about the slight differences. I mean, there's a huge difference. Hoodies are not a hooded cloak. See,
they're a modern take on the hooded cloak.
I want the hooded cloak, like Luke Skywalker had in Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, I want the hooded cloak like you'd expect in like a Dungeons and Dragons game to be worn by a thief, that you can push it over your shoulders and it'll be behind you like a cape and with the hood down, or you can pull it up and over and wrap the hood around you and be like Batman. So you're thinking about this. This is a good idea, right? And it's not gender specific. Women can do the hooded cloak thing too. Don't you want to come across like a medieval thief hanging out in a tavern enjoying your mead?
Yes. I'm not saying that I don't think that I like this idea, because I do, but I'm saying is that fashion is cyclical in the way that it comes back slightly altered to fit contemporary fashion. Like, ideas are cyclical. Like the hood thing, the hood part of the hooded cloak is definitely in like a full comeback mode right now. Or it has been, right? Because everyone's got a hoodie. Everyone and their mother's got a hoodie. And that hasn't always been the case.
I have one on right now. Yeah.
All right, yeah. See. And hoodies are usually oversized and baggy.
Thank God. One of the few items of male clothing that hasn't become, in my opinion, feminized, overly tight, and rather effete.
Polly.
I said it.
Hang on. That brings up something else.
I'm a stand by it.
Okay, so you have a problem with men's fashion nowadays being over effeminate, right?
For a want of a better description, but I think effete, yes. When you're cutting the shoulders in to be as tight as possible, when you're cutting at the waist and flaring beneath it, when you're wearing skinny jeans and skinny cut dress pants to go along with it, yes. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Robin Hood Men in Tights, Polly?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's old-fashioned. It's very effeminate in the tights area.
But there's no restricted movement in tights. Now, I'm not trying to say anyone should go wear tights. It would be like, Revolutionary War wear. They would or late colonial period, early Republic period. They would be wearing the silk stockings up to the knees, and then it gets baggy from that point on. And if you think about Robin Hood Men in Tights, sure, they're wearing tights, but then they have comfortable shoes. The tights themselves don't restrict motion anyway. And then they're wearing big, baggy, flowy linen shirts. See, there's all sorts of comfort. You look at a modern men's suit and it looks like you're in a bizarre, poorly colored, horribly stitched straitjacket.
We'll see, Polly, what I think you're missing the point of here, right, with men's suits is that because they're so restrictive and uncomfortable, they're basically the equivalent of anti-sexual assault gimp suits.
Anti-sexual assault gimp suits.
So think about it, right? If you are encumbered in any such way, you cannot rape a woman. If you are discomforted in any such way, you do not feel the desire to rape a woman. Ergo, anti-sexual assault gimp suit.
Where are you getting this phrase from?
I made it up.
Did you ever? I guess I'm more thankful than anything that you made it up, because if you start pulling up links, I'm just gonna check out of society.
Oh look, Corinne Forever is in the chat. Hello, Corinne.
Oh hey, Corinne. I haven't seen you forever. Okay, so of all potatoes, says skinny jeans are for men with no balls and a small dick. Mm-hmm. Well, let me. I should tell you the story of the dick pants one time.
We have time.
You want to hear the story of the dick pants?
Let's go. Okay. I have nothing better to do. Actually, I do. I need to read the super chat. Thank you. The next 6 minutes for the $2 over on the super chat. Pele, join me in the Titan's dark side, bro. Hurrah.
No, I'm gonna stay on the light side of the force where clothes are free and my balls can breathe. And this is why I wear boxers. My boys need to roam free. Do they? Well, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, if you think about it, like weebs, stretching out your arms in front of you, like if you were to point ahead of you with both fingers, if you can't do that in your suit jacket and not have the seam along the back of your suit stretch and feel like it's going to rip, if you get resistance along the line between your shoulder and bicep, like where the stress point is going to happen, your suit's too tight. You can't do that in a modern men's suit. They're not designed to. And people make this argument that, well, you see, only double-breasted suits are meant to actually button closed. A single-breasted suit should not button closed. You're meant to wear it open. Okay, but this is the point. Test it, though. Button the single-breasted suit closed. Do you feel strained? Are the buttons under stress holding on for dear life before they snap and you're not a fat person?
Oh, that just means that you're fat.
No, your suit's cut. I'm just saying your suit's cut too tight because if it's cut for size, whether you're a fat slob or a skinny rail, you know what I mean? Just take a look at men's fashion is awful. Weebs. Trust me on this. It's just gone to hell.
Polly, you will get no sympathy from me, a woman, in the current year. Not when I have no pockets to brag about. All right? Not when they haven't figured out the thigh crotch fray problem.
See, chat, get with me on this. This is like a classic response from a woman, isn't it? Where it's like, oh, I'm not saying you can't complain about women's clothes problems by all means. I have a pair of jogging pants on. Actually, right now, it's part of an entire ensemble. See, my pants match my hoodie. It's in any case, and these pockets are so shallow that I can't even put my cell phone in it because I sit down, it'll fall out because the cell phone's half sticking out the pocket. So I'm all with women on this one.
For us nowadays, that's why.
What's that?
Cell phones are too big for us nowadays.
Even if they are, I'm not willing to put keys or money in there because that shit will fall out too. These pockets are too narrow. I can only get my hands in them. Like if I stick my hands in them up to the knuckles, why'd you even bother with pockets in this? I need deep set pockets where shit's going to stay or don't bother. So when women complain, pockets too shallow in women's clothes, hey, I'm all for you. I just get off the train when they start pointing that it's the patriarchy that's somehow responsible. I say no.
Ryan Walters says, why do those Chinese sweatshop workers hate pockets? That's a good point. Why do they hate pockets so much? Stingy little assholes.
I heard this argument online. Like, I don't know if you remember, like a year ago when it was like women's fashion and the patriarchy is involved and the way that pants are cut. Like, first of all, they were just saying like no pocket space and so on. And the arguments came back. It had to do with the grain of the fabric and the line of the clothes. And I never quite followed that, but I'm not a high fashion person. So I was like, maybe?
No, because I can find pants with pockets. Not an issue. It just, for the most part, it's a pain in the ass. And I have to go all the way to Levi's and pay $20 per pair of pants for a goddamn pocket. Plus, dresses don't have pockets for the most part, for whatever reason. Pockets promote secrets. Bring back trip pants. What are trip pants, Polly?
I don't know.
All right. See, you're old. I thought you would know something about that.
Yeah, I'm old. Okay.
You're older than me.
Well, yeah.
I'm a youngin'. I'm a small boy. I'm a child. Or so I've been reminded by the chat time and time again.
You stop listening to their harassment. It's fine.
I'm a victim of the patriarchy, Polly. No, but like if you have a problem with the way that it is that fashion is, right, then just don't adhere to it. Vote with your wallets, people. Buy what it is that you feel comfortable with. So, Polly, if you have a problem with the way that people cut suits nowadays, specifically tell your suit tailor, all right, because I know you have one, to cut it a little bit larger.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I do not conform. I'm a nonconformist, and especially when it comes to things like that. Because I'm a strong believer in this. Hear my theory out on this, Weebs. Let's say you were living in the late 70s and somebody said, hey, here's this polyester pastel colored leisure suit. that has like bell-bottom pants and so forth, and leave your neck alone. You're not a chiropractor. That's not cool.
Tell me how to crack my neck, Polly.
And while you're at it, white man, why don't you get a perm and then pick your hair out into a quasi afro? And then you look at pictures of yourself from like the late 1970s, or you look at pictures of people from the late 1970s, and they look like a bunch of clowns. I am a strong believer in the idea that you should have been able to see this coming.
We go.
It's like when somebody gave you the pastel colored polyester leisure suit, you should have said, no, that's extreme. This is clearly going for a look to be noticed, to be extreme at the time. I'm going to look like a clown when I look back at myself. Right now, men who are walking around in knob-toed shoes that stretch 3 inches off the end of their toe to a squared front with skinny jeans and a suit that actually pinches at the waist. It's got a butt flap cut into the suit rear. That totally destroys the line of the suit, by the way. The suit pockets themselves are sewn shut because you don't want to ruin the line of the suit again. And the shoulders are actually cut in to make your shoulders look more narrow. And you're wearing this super skinny little tie. And this stitch is a different color than the rest of the suit. You're going to look back at this 10 years from now and say, did I want this suit to look like it was painted on? What the fuck was I thinking? You are running with trends, extreme trends. You should have been able to see this coming.
So what you're saying is this is just like a sway in the opposite direction of the Hammer Time pants in terms of I want attention, give it to me now.
Indeed. And there will be a flow in the other direction. If you look at like 80s pants, like any kind of like hair metal rockers, they're all wearing super tight jeans, and that was the thing. And then it's like the reaction is to go ultra baggy. I'm not saying ultra baggy. I'm saying that there is a middle road between those things of comfort and not enough material for two people.
Okay. Why would you want to fit two people in your suit though, Polly?
You see my point? That's too much fabric.
I see your point. Ugh. Wear what you want to. You know, everyone's got their own style. I wear Levi jeans that open up at the bottom, that flare a little bit. They're the boot cut jeans, you know? So they have a little bit of room for where it is that you pull on your boots. And then I like muscle shirts. I don't like collars that go up to here a lot. But I also like the button up with the collars. But they can't just like close around my neck. Otherwise it feels like I'm choking.
So you like all the things is what you're saying.
No. Polly. I don't like things hugging my neck. Like it can go up to the neck, but it can't hug the neck.
So does that include choker necklaces?
Yeah, I can't tolerate those. I've worn them before, but it always feels like I'm like tugging at them whenever I do feel them on my neck. It's just, ugh. It's irritating.
I love this, by the way. Your boy Pat says, I grew up in the 80s, so I had the black and red version of the Beat It jacket. I've seen that video. My God, Pat, you rocked the Beat It jacket. That's incredible.
Rock the Beat It jacket. Pat's awesome.
That's like, okay, you know what? I was confusing them because the Beat It jacket is the one with the red leather with all the zippers. I was thinking the Thriller jacket of the red one with all of the black lines and extra material in the okay.
Yeah, we got to show the audience what it is that we're talking about, because if Polly got it wrong, then obviously everyone got it wrong. It's this, ladies and gentlemen. Share screen. Don't show these tips again. Inconvenient. That one. The one with all the zippers.
Yeah, there's the Beat It jacket for sure.
$129?
Well, now it's retro throwback. Okay,
what's the point of all of the zippers, Polly?
Oh, fashion. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you my latest anger about fashion throwback and price gouging.
I thought you just did.
Well, I'll give you another example.
Okay.
Baseball hats.
Yeah.
Okay. Back in the day, they're all snapbacks because that's just the way that it was. And if you wanted a pro fit, meaning whatever your head size is, for me personally, it's 7 3/8. What?
No, I was just like, oh, he's making big deal. He would know his head size.
Well, how else you can buy a hat?
Snapbacks.
Well, let me tell you about the snapbacks.
Or Velcro backs.
See, right. So the snapbacks were the cheaper ones back in the day, and you wanted a pro fit, you're going to pay more because that's what the pros wear, and that's why they call it pro fit, or a fitted cap as they came to be known, right? And it's like, and then fitted caps became so popular, the snapbacks just went away because you didn't want to look broke as fuck wearing a snapback. Okay, now the snapbacks have come back in. They're charging more for the snapback than they are for the pro fit, which is galling. It's cheaper to make. It's a universal hat that can fit anyone's fucking head size, and they're charging more for it because it's a nostalgic throwback. Fuck you. What a piss off.
There's value in people's nostalgia, Polly. If Stranger Things has taught me anything, it's that. Quite literally, actually. It's thrust into this era. It's thrust upon us this revival of nostalgia that everyone has for all things old-fashioned.
I'm fine with old-fashioned things coming back, but something that's easier to make, universal to make, is cheaper to make, and you're charging more
because it's trendy. Because people are willing to spend more on things that they feel nostalgic about, or that they feel like a personal heightened connection to. It's simple market reading. And
this is why you should buy your throwback nostalgic fashion from vintage shops, like where I got my smoking jacket, for example.
Like co-signing shops, or like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this.
Throw away anything ever. Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Excuse me, I ripped.
And let me keep looking here. I got a meme for this, so I'm looking for it.
Polly's got a meme for this.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm not even the best memer out there, or meme collector. I mean, Zelthor's in chat. That guy's got terabytes of fucking memes, man. I just have like a reasonable selection. There it is. Okay.
I have a question. What does this mean? Weebs, I still know you may be Santori. Have a good night. What is Santori? What is this?
Is that like a Dirty Sanchez?
I don't know. Santori. I'm looking it up. Santori. No, so not Santorini. I'm so confused.
Nice. I like Pat. He calls it out as the nostalgia tax. If women have a pink tax, and I'm going to pull my nostalgia tax card. I hear you. I support this idea.
Santori is an Italian surname derived from Latin name Santorius. It's loosely defined as one who made saintly images globally. Approximately 5,645 people bear this surname. Santori may also refer to all of these other things. No, I'm not a Santori. I'm not Italian that I know of. And of course, right. I wouldn't, because I'll never do the Ancestry.com cheek swab thing.
There we go. It's not exactly a meme. It's just a picture I saved that's highly memeable.
No. Okay.
This gentleman has a Pro Fit cap on that has the snapback drawn on it.
Polly, I think it's less impressive that you have this meme that you just happen to have this meme since you were the one that brought up the snapback versus Pro Fit argument. It's less impressive.
I was just watching a Tommy Sotomayor video, and this guy he's an actor. He's on ER, I think. I can't remember what show he's on. And that is, I had to laugh at this hat. I'm like, I got to get a snap of that, a screenshot of this guy's hat. I can't fucking believe this. I looked it up. That thing's expensive as fuck. That's a $200 baseball hat.
No,
it's a Pro Fit.
No, it's not.
But it is.
No,
it's a pro.
No, it's not.
See, I know you refuse to believe it, but it's true.
It's not.
Okay.
You're lying to me.
So if you reshare the screen, I'll show you another meme I have that relates to the conversation we're having.
No.
This one's a GIF.
Oh my gosh.
Look, it's Michael Jackson from the Thriller video eating Tide Pods. Look how happy he is.
He looks so excited.
Young Michael. It's tragic. Makes you feel bad. It does me anyway.
Do you think he still had that like super high voice at that age?
When he was a young man, right there?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He just his entire life he had
his entire life.
Yeah, he never lost that really
like super effeminate,
high octave voice.
And he spoke like that. Do you think because he wanted to like save his voice? Like, do you think he made a concerted effort to speak like that, or was that his natural voice?
That was his natural voice.
That was.
Every single indication was that that's his natural voice. Yeah.
Okay.
It's and frankly, I think suddenly hearing Michael Jackson, hi, I'm Michael Jackson, that'd be weird.
I don't know. I just feel like it's the voice that we're familiar with Michael Jackson having is more of a put on than not, because I know the extreme. I know the strides that singers go to protect their voice, and Michael Jackson being Michael Jackson, I know he would have gone like the extra mile to protect his voice, since it's like half of the moneymaker of that man. The other half being, of course, his dancing ability.
Yeah, well, no, but it really, like I said, every indication was that that was his real voice, and he did go to the extents, like lots of singers do, gargling lemon juice and all sorts of mixtures of things to keep their throat just so.
It's apple cider vinegar, Polly.
Oh, all right then.
You swallow like a teaspoon of that right before a performance, and it's supposed to clear out your throat.
Nice.
I did that once, and it was not. It's bad. I got sick off of it, actually, right before a concert. Bad.
You're getting a lot of traction from this clip, this retard clip.
Oh, am I? Oh, no.
So for Zeusby and I, for the past few days, have been watching 70s and 80s commercials for nostalgic value. And oh my God, they are funny. Mm-hmm. And I really should have had OBS up and recording random sound clips as I was going and then just setting them aside for later use, because stuff that was fine back in the day and wasn't a problem is now absolutely hilarious now. Like I could plug them all into a soundboard. The next time I'm over on Sinatra's channel, I'd be able to play the sound clip from that commercial where it's, this is a class for retarded children. And there was absolutely no problem saying that on TV in 1976, because that's what it was. It was about the special education course. And if you have a special needs child, get a hold of us. Here's our number and etc. But now that's no, they're never going to say that. It would be, this is a special learning environment for differently abled children.
The way that we change language nowadays. There was nothing wrong with the word retarded, except that people found that it was too close to something that they found to be derogatory, which is not. It's really not.
I hear you, because now the word is, like the word retarded means like mentally retarded, but certain words take on different meanings. Every time, like I paint Revolutionary War minis for tabletop wargaming, right?
Yeah.
And I need extra time because I'm brand new to it. So to slow the paint drying process down, you buy something that's called drying retarder.
Yeah.
And it's a chemical that changes the evaporation point of the, et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't mention it without Inquisitor breaking into giggles. That's
Inquisitor. But like, it's literally the definition of the word. Yes, the connotation is this mentally slow person, but the actual meaning of the word retard is too slow or be slow than like what it is that you're typically used to. In elementary school, they had us take the R word oath. Like we had to pledge not to say the R word. Then we went through this whole like lesson on how it was harmful and all. Yeah, in elementary school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, wow. Okay.
It was nuts, actually, and I distinctively remember this. They all gave us stickers or whatever. It was really weird, but there was this whole initiative to just not have this word mean this thing, and I didn't know what it meant before that. Before they told me what it meant, I'd never heard of it. But then they introduced me to the word, and then subsequently told me that I couldn't use it, and that I had to pledge not to use it. Kind of like dare. right? Here, let's introduce you to all of these like harmful drugs and then tell you, no, don't use these. You're not allowed to. Just say no. Like, I feel like it's a little bit counterproductive to do that.
I think it is too. I mean, Tiberius Kirk, awesome name, by the way. It's like, or retarding the timing of a car. Yeah, absolutely. Or like buying a heavier buffer for your AR to retard the cyclic rate. It's common language that they use all the time. But if you say that in front of it, like, did you just say retard? And it means to slow down and impede the process of the cyclic timing. Retard is the right word here.
Yeah. Yeah, I have broken my oath. I broke it a long while ago, to be frank. But I'll live. I think it'll be okay.
I got a thought for you, Weebs. Somebody just said demonetized. That was
probably
somebody up there. Who was it? Oh, Slipknot. Okay, and I hear you, because we've said retard and retarded so many times that the Autobot is listening. And demonetizing your shit because we've said a bad word too many times, but we're actually more times using it dictionary style correct than we are to call out any child who's differently abled or make fun of somebody who's not differently able at all. We just think they're dumb, so we're going to call them a bad name. All right. This is my ongoing thought with YouTube. A year from now, we're not going to be able to recognize it, because it's completely different than it was a year ago.
Didn't you say that a year ago?
That's what and do we recognize the YouTube of right now as compared to the way it was a year ago? A year from now, it's going to be even more far gone. See, I had this thought yesterday. I was telling Zelda.
It's very different from the original YouTube as well. I mean, it's always evolving.
Well, it's always evolving, but it's becoming, I wouldn't call it evolving. It's constantly restricting itself and restricting the kind of content and moving towards a more corporatist television network model, in my opinion. Do you remember Sargon going to the VidCon and sitting at the panel that had Anita Sarkeesian on it and the garbage?
How could I forget?
Okay, so you remember this, right?
Yeah.
Her calling him a garbage human for sitting with a bunch of people in the front row just listening became the thing. I think, thinking back on it, that what she said immediately before that was far more important. It was more informative. She said, I think panels like this are important. Panels like what? A bunch of feminists and intersectionalists sitting all on a panel while an audience sits there and listens to what they say, is what she was describing. Because I think panels like this are important, because if you look up feminism on YouTube right now, well, you're going to find a bunch of guys like this man. And she used some name like this dickweed, this asshole, whatever she said. She calls out a guy in the front row. She wasn't wrong. If you type in feminism into YouTube at that time, you're going to get a bunch of anti-SJW videos. Yeah. You know why? Because this is my call now. We're entering into my editorial on it. Because it was a free marketplace of ideas, more of a free marketplace of ideas at the time. A bunch of feminists put up their videos saying intersectionalism is important, everything's racist, everything's sexist, and a whole bunch of people responded. And the free marketplace of ideas, feminism, intersectional feminism at the least, was exposed as the kind of intersectional stack and bullshit and oppression Olympics that it really has become in its worst forms. But now those anti-SJW videos have been pushed down and you will find more feminism content. I'm okay with things being a free marketplace of ideas because the best ideas will bubble to the top. I actually do believe in that. But it's not really that anymore. More and more things are classified as hate speech. You can flag somebody for hate speech simply because they said something about someone you didn't like, unless it falls into a non-marginalized group, namely people like myself, straight cis white males. You can say anything and it's not racist. There isn't a standard thing. This isn't a free marketplace of ideas. It's becoming an indoctrination network.
I think you're kind of right. I don't think that they're necessarily going for the indoctrination so much as they're trying to go for a more, in their eyes, lucrative business model. And they think that the cable perspective is that model that is going to make them the biggest money, you know? And they also think that the free marketplace of ideas is going to lose them the most money because it's been screamed at them from the ether of the internet mainstream media for so long that at a certain point you do start to believe what is being screamed at you over and over again. It's a psychological tool, obviously, to do such a thing. So maybe it's not, I don't think it's inherently that malicious in intent that they're trying to brainwash everybody, but I do think that that is a consequence of what it is that they're trying to go for.
Well, see, there's the thing. I'm not trying to imply that it's an indoctrination network in the way that InStock in 84 will attempt to indoctrinate people. It just de facto ends up being that. Yeah. They want to go for the most lucrative model possible. I hear you. That means bringing on advertisers. The brigadists and the people that want things to change because they're the ideologues, not the YouTube people. Do you know what I mean? Will come after the advertisers, looking at you, Wall Street Journal, looking at the Voxes of the world and the Carlos Mazas of the world. That let's go after their. It's like, you're a bigot, racist, sexist, homophobe if you buy advertising over these videos in general by not making more ethical choices, ethics being defined by them, of course. The result is certain content gets pushed down, other content gets accentuated, and the end result is the only content that's available is ideologically consistent with their worldview because they haven't brigaded against that stuff yet. So at the end of the day, it ends up indoctrinating you to what they want nonetheless.
Yeah.
It's the controversy-free stuff.
Well, no, because they're still pushing controversial stuff, right?
That won't garner SJW brigading. That's what I mean when I say uncontroversial to the Vox types of the world. I mean, they want controversial stuff like push Marxism, push socialism, push unions, and their idea of a union is really a Marxist union. Racism in only one direction. The inability for anyone who's a LGBT POC to be racist or sexist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are kind of edgy opinions. Those are fringe opinions, is what I should say. But people are constantly talking about normalization. That's some normalizing shit. Like the Voxes of the world actually have very fringe opinions compared to the majority of people.
Oh yes,
but they're going to attack people who don't align with them. So the content on YouTube is more in line with what they want than anything else. I don't think fringe people are going to march on certain ideas. People that are in the center, they're not excited enough to march on anything because they're
neutral.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like
they're not super. What's the word? They don't emphasize it as much, and so therefore they don't feel the need to go out and sacralize it to other people. Like, oh, you need to try this new and awesome epic thing, So it is actually interesting that like converts, as opposed to people who are just in it, and this is specifically with regards to religion, but I guess you could also apply it to ideology, right? New converts specifically, are more enthusiastic about spreading the good word of it, what it is that they've been converted to, than people who are just like classical, been here for a while type of ideologues. Like the old school people who've been in feminism for a while. I guess you could say, let's see. Does Christina Hoff Sommers count? Yeah. Like an old school feminist.
Yeah, sure.
Like she's been in it for a while. She's not super hopped up about converting everyone to it. But for instance, Anita Sarkeesian is probably a little bit more enthusiastic about converting people over to her side. Maybe for the payout that it gives her, but also maybe because the more she spreads her ideas, the more popular they become, the more successful they are. You mean vegans, Weebo? Yes.
the vegans are murderers because they killed off all the vegetarians. I'm old enough to remember when there was such a thing as a vegetarian. Damn it!
Vegetarians still exist, Polly. Don't be absurd.
It's just I only ever hear from the vegans, and that's largely because of how vocal they are. It's not that you're right. It's not that there aren't vegetarians anymore. It's just vegans make whole channels where they get angry as hell and start ranting on some crazy shit.
Okay, Vegan Gains is a very special case, Polly.
Okay, well, as one example, I wasn't even thinking of him. I was actually thinking of the guy that he used to stream with. Is the first person that came to mind.
Who?
What was his name? Think again. You're right. Best opinion. What the fuck was his name?
I don't know. I don't watch Vegan Gains.
Neither did I. The only clips I've ever seen are when Bering would do a video on this nut bar. Monkey debated with him one time. I remember over on Lauren Chen's channel when she was still known as Roaming Millennial.
I only know that Monkey debated with Vegan Gains.
Yeah, and his little buddy was there who was a far better debater than he was. Vegan Gains is just...
What did he look like?
Never showed his face. He was just...
I have no idea then.
He was just an avatar of a guy with the vegan symbol on a t-shirt laughing. And it was like, yeah, that doesn't make you look like a mocking, condescending son of a bitch at all.
I could never go vegetarian or vegan.
Why?
I like meat too much.
Do you classify seafood as meat?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't. I hear you. I'm not trying to make the argument. It's just there's...
Well, I mean, I get it, but it's meat. Guys, it's meat. If it comes from an animal, it's meat. If it comes from a plant, it's plant.
I hear you. I'm not trying to argue against it, but that's just why there's pescatarians. They're vegetarians plus.
Yeah, no, I still couldn't do that. I like chicken and I like cow and I like beef and I like all. I said cow and then beef. Yeah, no, pork. There we go.
You know what? I'm not a fan of this. It's like, we'll eat chicken. Chickens are good. Chickens are tasty, but we don't sit there and say cows are good. Cows are tasty. Pigs are good. Pigs are tasty. We have a word for chicken. It's poultry. Why don't we ever use it?
Because poultry can refer to not just chicken. It can refer to duck or turkey. That's why.
I say we name the animal. Would you like some smoked pig slices? Bacon. Bacon weaves.
Pig slices. You smoke your bacon?
Bacon is smoked. That's one of the defining qualities of bacon.
Okay, and then you fry it in a pan. You can also smoke pork in a different way, like from a different cut.
Okay. You're being a little pedantic right now, but I'll go along.
You brought it up. Okay. You were like, oh, why don't we call it poultry instead of chicken?
Hold on. Fine. Sliced, smoked, fried pork belly. Okay.
There we go.
Jesus. I clutch the bridge of my nose so often talking here. Like,
really? Wow. Rude.
I guess it's good that I'm just a little otter avatar. Clutching a pumpkin. It's very seasonal.
It is very seasonal.
Speaking of
otter pumpkins.
That picture.
We need to come up with a thumbnail.
We need to come up with a thumbnail and when we talked about the format. See, Chet, Weebs and I had this discussion about what kind of format we want. And we wanted it to be free-flowing, but I don't really know if we wanted Freudian free association formats. I mean, this isn't even... This is like a nebulous gossamer mass more than it is.
Aren't you having fun, Polly? We've moved from like all across the chessboard to not even on the chessboard. We're playing Chinese checkers now at this point.
I'm just happy I got to use the word gossamer in a sentence. That opportunity doesn't come up very much.
I don't mind this stream of consciousness of essentially Freudian association type of stream. All right? No, okay. I don't mind it at all. And chat, do you guys mind this? The fact that we're just all over the place, willy-nilly like?
It certainly fits into the idea of cocktail hour, where it's not like chill hour yet, like you get over on Noir Bar, which you can find over on my channel on an occasional basis, and an interesting backlog of episodes if you're interested.
You can find all of Polly's links in the description as well.
Oh, yay! Actually,
yes, I always put them there, Polly.
Oh, nice.
Do you just not look at the description?
I have limited screen space. I mean,
you can go to the stream, look, and then X out of the stream if you so choose.
Yeah, no, you're right. I just didn't look. I've got 4 screens up right now. I have Twitter, the StreamYards Hangout.
Have Twitter open on your phone.
I don't have Twitter on my phone.
That's probably for the best, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I don't. And I don't want it on my phone. I've seen those people that zombify around the city.
Gesundheit.
Sneeze stuck up on me there.
It's fine. It happened to me earlier.
I've seen the people that just stare at their phones and you see them just scrolling.
They could be reading.
Yeah.
They could be reading that article about this mom who had her baby on a very special diet, and you should see her now.
What?
I'm just taking an example out of the thin air. I don't know. 20 examples of hot moms and what they did to get their bodies.
That's so BuzzFeed-esque. Number 8 will shock you.
Number 8 will shock you. And you know what? People click on that fully expecting to be shocked. And it's, oh my gosh, the worst. I hate those articles, but sometimes I actually click on them despite knowing that it's clickbait, right? And then I find myself scrolling, and then I'm like, I give up. Fuck this. Halfway through, and I X out, and I'm like, I guess I'll never know how to make the perfect flambe. Darn it.
Weebs, I have had very poor luck with internet recipes.
Really?
Yeah, I tried making caramel like a month ago, 2 months ago. I damn near ruined the pot. Didn't work at all.
How much? Okay, I've never made caramel before. What did you do?
I put it's just sugar and water, and then cooked until the sugar begins to caramelize, hence the name.
Okay.
And then it's supposed to become like hard and caramelly. What the hell what did I want caramel for again? I can't even remember.
What recipe did you just use? Like just caramel or just sugar and water?
I'd have to go look the recipe up. I saved it in my favorites folder. I think it was from like yumly.com or recipes.com. I can't remember.
See, the problem is you have to shop around for recipes, Polly.
I did No, I didn't rush. It was like simple caramel recipe. And so I read this and
all right, send it to me and I'll tell you what the problem was with it, because it sounded like you forgot to add butter.
Butter?
Yeah, some recipes do come with that, butter necessity. You ever have...
If you add butter to caramel, you have butterscotch. That's not the same thing.
You can still add a little bit of butter to caramel, and it will be caramel. Caramel.
I think I wanted to add it to my coffee. I can't remember.
And how's that working out for you right now, Polly?
I didn't get it because I damn near destroyed the pot. You know what I had to do to fix it? I had to pour a whole bunch of water in there and then turn it on high heat to get all the caramel that had turned into basically fucking cement.
Oh yeah, Ryan Walters, did you try using lower heat, Polly, or did you just turn it on high and let it bubble?
No. I followed their instructions with the low medium heat.
All right,
and everything.
Send me the recipe. We'll figure out what you did wrong.
And some people said, well, you need to get yourself a candy thermometer because it's really precise that if you boil it over a certain temperature at a given temperature for a certain length of time, you'll get hardball candy versus, that whole thing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, I don't have a candy thermometer.
You have to, and cream to make caramel. Yeah, so Irish Rose says you have to use butter and cream to make caramel. See, that's what I thought. But no, Polly's like, no, that makes it butterscotch.
I think that was one of the worst impressions of me I've ever heard. Went up 2 octaves and got highly nasal.
Like I can't mimic that deep baritone very well.
You know what I love?
What?
When people, especially girls, because they have higher voices tend to try and do a deep voice, they not only lower their voice, they try and lower their mouth on their face like you just did.
Well, the reason why is because if you physically actually lower things, like your vocal cords, like they're less stretched out, they're less stressed, you can actually get to a deeper octave. Like, I'm not actually doing anything super different here, except for, I'm not stressing this as much. I'm bringing it down. And so in doing that, it sounds like it's getting deeper. That's why.
People are asking me, it's like, did I use brown sugar? No, I didn't. But afterwards, I thought that might have been a good idea. And then Lion Patriot said, did you use an aluminum pot? No, steel. Some form of steel. I can't comment to its chromium content, but it clearly wasn't aluminum. So speaking of voices and things of this sort, chat, I want you to help me pressure Weebo into something.
What?
No, this is a good idea. Only mild social pressure will be required. There's a link to my channel if you didn't look in the description as I didn't do. Where I do all sorts of live reads. And one of my favorite authors is Bret Easton Ellis. And I'm doing a couple of live reads from American Psycho right now. But that's not my favorite book that Ellis ever wrote. That's actually Rules of Attraction. Now, that book comes in the form of a number of college students at a fictional college called Camden. That's actually an analog to the real college that Ellis himself attended in the early 80s. And every chapter is written in the first person of one of the students at this campus from their perspective. So Paul, Lauren, Sean, etc. I want Weebs to read some of the female characters. Doesn't this sound like fun? Specifically, I want Weebs to read Lauren. She's actually my favorite character in the book next to Paul. Paul's hilarious. He's such a manipulative prick. And ends up justifying, and they're all unreliable narrators. That's what makes it so enjoyable. You hear them each describing the same events in their own self-interested perspective ways. And they're completely distorted. So 2 chapters will tell the same event, but from 2 different people's perspective. You get this whole Rashomon thing working. It's awesome. And Weebs is currently in college, so it fits, you see. She's of the age that Lauren was. I don't think she's nearly as slutty and promiscuous as Lauren is, but
Nope, definitely not. I don't know if it would work.
See, chat, isn't this a good idea? Doesn't everybody want this to happen? I want this to happen.
Yeah. Let's see if chat can pressure me into doing what you want me to do.
Ryan Walters wants it to happen.
No.
Because I really love audiobooks and I love voice acting and things of that sort. That's why I enjoy doing live reads, because I'm not very good at it. I find it an interesting challenge, so I like doing it.
So wait, like a live read as in I would have to read it as people are watching me, or I would pre-record it and then you just upload it like that?
Yeah, I've thought about that a few times. I think I use the word live read even on the video titles, just so people get a sense of it, that it's not an analysis or a review of American Psycho. Or the Screwtape Letters are also up on my channel. Some of the chapters from it, I think live read is a poor word, but what would you call it? Audiobook style?
Narration?
Narration? But it's like, I don't know. I think narration would probably get closer to it, but I tend to think of a narrator as the person that's like, meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, our heroes get...
Well, I feel... narration sounds better than live read to me.
Fair enough. I'm actually open to changing that, because I never really thought that live read, you're right, it does sound like it's happening live. No, I meant pre-recorded.
I guess you'd have to send me whatever it is, the chapters that you would want me to read, and then I'd have to find a time to sit down, record this stuff, and then send you the raw audio. Because you'd have to go through and get out all my like weird breathy things.
And I absolutely realize that coming on, and it's like if you listen to my raw audio, you'll hear me say the same sentence like 2 or 3 times because I didn't get it right, and that's just the nature of raw audio when doing recordings like that.
Yeah,
it only really comes together in the editing once you've removed the background noise of hisses and dishwashers and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Ooh, table read, maybe. No One Nowhere suggested.
Well, see, Number One Nowhere, like table read, that's what I think of when I think of a live read, is a bunch of the actors sitting, doing a table read. They sit around a table and they read the script. They go through it once to see how the interaction sounds, saying it live, and it.
Yeah. It could work.
There's a bunch of other characters in there, and it's, I don't even want it. Paul is my favorite male character in there, but I would work better for Sean because Paul's he's gay and he's manipulative and I would just work better as Sean, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
because you're not gay and manipulative.
Well, I'm manipulative, just not gay. It's just when you look at that, that's the great thing about Sean and Paul's characters. Paul talks about this ongoing romantic relationship he has with Sean. Sean is completely silent on it. So is Sean in the closet and not mentioning this relationship he's having with Paul because he's bisexual? Because he is, but he's completely, or is it all a product of Paul's imagination because he is prone to flights of fantasy? So is he making it all up? They're completely unreliable narrators. There's nowhere to know. There's no way to know. And it's written like that on purpose. Because everybody's constructing their own reality anyway. So why not present the book that way?
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. It sounds pretty interesting.
And Lauren tends to fuck her friends' boyfriends. The reason I like Lauren is it like there's nobody, and I do mean nobody in that book that's likable. They're all just pretty bad people.
Yeah.
But you end up sympathizing and empathizing with all of them because they're very real. They're very textured characters. They come across as having all of the inherent contradictions and foibles that everybody has. They're very realistically written. She doesn't want to screw her friend over, but ends up getting drunk and sleeping with one of the guys she's interested in, and then justifies it afterwards. Well, in reality, she did this to me a couple of years ago. And it's like, oh, now you're justifying it. And the audience can see it, but she can't. And that's it. The whole book is extremely human. It's great.
All right. Well, like I said, send me whatever chapter it is that you want me to take a look at, and I'll take a look at it.
Cool. Yeah, Irate Alex should be Paul. Actually, but Irate Alex is very good at voice acting. He's done online courses for voice acting, and it would be a hell of a challenge for him because he'd have to read it with an American accent. I'd like to see how he would do because he's been working on his American accent. It would be really interesting.
Papa Kenesu asks, what's the book called again?
The Rules of Attraction.
The Rules of Attraction. All right.
It's an ironic title because there are no rules. It's the chaos that ensues when you get a bunch of young people on a college campus, especially in it is absolutely contextualized to 1985. It's
that year specifically, none other.
Well, the music, the permissiveness, the sexual promiscuity that was not promoted as being, we're breaking free of our parents' generation. This isn't the youth revolt of, flower kids and flower children and stuff moving away from the stodginess of their parents. It's nothing like that. It's the 80s excess fallout of all of that. I personally, I went to a college campus and that was not my experience. Yeah, there were people that were like that, but he's attempting to tell it from that perspective. And because he himself, Ellis, was bisexual at that time, there's a lot of bisexuality in the stories. And yeah.
Was that adapted into a movie in the early 2000s, says Papa Kensu?
It was. Sadly, because I don't know. I'm sure lots of people have had that experience. You read the book and you love it, and then the movie adaptation it just does not do the material justice. I'm of the opinion that book could not have been made into a movie effectively. It's kind of not their fault because while the characters are very engrossing, it's the fact that each person is speaking to you individually. Let me tell you my version of events kind of thing.
Maybe if it had been like a singular episode per individual, narrated by that individual and experienced from that individual's perspective, like in a short series, it could have worked better as opposed to an actual TV show or movie.
That's actually an interesting idea as a Netflix series, like meaning only 10 episodes a season.
Yeah.
A chapter.
Or not even like more than one season, just a season.
Yeah. I didn't think of that. That's actually might have been a much, much better use of the material. Instead, because the book is some 30 chapters, because some of them are quite short, only a page long. Some of them go on for a long time as they explain things that happened over the space of a week. And Weebs, I think you'll identify with a lot of it because the two main semesters that happen at college are quite different from each other, and the seasons affect things. And this is a New England campus, and I don't know if you're at a campus that's separate from things, but the like Dartmouth students end up visiting because their annual Dress to Get Screwed party is coming up. And
we live in the middle of nowhere next to nothing.
Yeah,
so
then
we're unencumbered by anything.
You'll get the college town idea when you go into the nearest town and you're recognized as one of the college students and the townies who don't like you. And
there is definitely a distinction between us and the townies. And we're not supposed to use that word because it's derogatory.
Really?
Yeah. People get super pissy about it in town if we call them townies.
What do they call you guys? Bastards?
Students of the school. I don't know what they call us. They don't call it us. They don't call us that to our faces. Which is probably good.
It honestly makes me miss undergrad.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in grad school than in undergrad. I did it and I'm happy I did it and I'm happy to be done with it. But like reading that book, I've read it several times and listened to the audiobook version of it. And it kind of makes me miss certain aspects of it. Like it's more nostalgia than anything, dealing with the food program and having to go to your mailbox and the insanity of dormitories and
PO box, having a roommate that you've never met before but keeps you up until 2 a.m. and kicks you out of your room and sexiles you, and then having people smoke weed like to high heavens on the floor that you're sleeping on and staying up until 3 a.m. and making noise the night before Monday. And yeah, I miss all that too.
All the things. What kills me about this school, Camden, is it's a liberal arts college, which is supposed to be,
I go there.
It's supposed to be an analog for Bennington, where Ellis actually went.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that they have as majors and the speed with which people switch their majors from one trivial thing to another, it's like Lauren begins the book being an art major. Not sculpture. Yeah, she's painting. She's an art painting major. And then halfway through the semester, she switches it. And then she just describes, this will be like the 5th time. I'm in my senior year. I should really make a call on this. Like they're all, oh my God.
It's not untrue that's what happens.
Yeah.
I had a friend who's a freshman and he was going to be he was going to be a kinesiology major. Thank you. And now he's an environmental geoscience major.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I had another friend who was going to be a Chinese and neuroscience double major, is going to be a computer science major, Mandarin Chinese minor. And then Balik was going to be pre-law, and now he's going at pre-law with a Latin double major, and now he's going to be a classical archaeology major and nothing else. So yeah.
I started as an archaeology major.
I started as just a psychology major, and then I moved on to add the computer science.
Well, yeah. I mean, I started off as an archaeology major for a total of 1 semester, but it didn't really matter because you're taking survey courses at the beginning, and you just had to declare a major for the sake of entering something in on that field in the application process.
In the application, yeah, they said, "What is your prospective major?" And you just had to say that was what you were going to. But technically, you don't declare your major until sophomore year. Like it's not set as that is the case until sophomore year, second semester. I mean, you can do it earlier, but that's like the deadline when you have to decide, and you can switch it afterwards too. But sophomore year is that deadline.
I was. I mean, I ended up coming to my majors actually pretty quickly in terms of solidifying them because I was a psych major with a philosophy minor, and then realized it's only this many extra courses which I can take over the summer, and I can do these other ones at distance learning, and I can do a double major instead of just having a major and a minor. I flirted with the idea of doing a double degree, so I'd be BA, but nah, I just went for the double major.
Wait. Hang on. You have to go the extra mile to get the BA?
Yeah. What do you mean?
See, I thought that my majoring in both computer science and psychology meant that I was getting 2 degrees.
Whoa. You need to go talk to your registrar's office like hardcore weebs. Like, it's Sunday, you need to go talk to them like tomorrow. Because
what's my degree in then?
Well, no, sure. That's cool. Like, my degree says, the faculty, it lists, of course, the faculty first and then the departments you're of. So it's a degree in X majoring in Y, that sort of thing. That's not the same as a double degree, but it could be. You could be in a double degree matriculation.
I don't know how my school does it, because I always thought that it was just majors are the degrees at the school, and they never actually explained if there was a difference.
Okay,
I'm a little bit scared.
Well, let me just tell you. Like, let's say you did, like, people talk about a 4-year degree, meaning if you completed all your courses, you didn't fail any, and you did the minimum amount per semester, usually 5.
Yeah.
Right? For like half courses, you guys do that stuff as well. Like, a course is like over a full year. Half courses, do you guys do that whole thing?
We
course credits.
Yeah.
Okay. Some universities, I mean, they're all accredited by the same process. It doesn't matter how they split them up. It's the credits that matter, because that's what's accredited. The university that they have the licensure, as it were, by the accreditation bodies to offer those degrees is by the credit hours. So it doesn't matter how they're splitting them up. A regular 4-year degree, usually you need to do an extra year to do a double degree, because you need to take more courses than that. More courses than just you would with a double major. That's exactly what I meant when I said I flirted with the idea of a double degree, to have 2 separate degrees, one in psychology, one in philosophy. But I opted to not do the extra classes because I had applied to 2 different grad schools and had been accepted to both with a full scholarship. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to defer that. I'm just going to go on to grad school.
Okay.
And so that's why I ultimately didn't do the double degree, because it's like I could defer the scholarship, but I don't want to. Just fuck it. I'm going to go on to the master's anyway.
So my transcript just says I have the 2 majors, cumulative attempted 27 credits, cumulative earned 27 credits. It takes 31 to graduate. And then I believe it's 11.5 for computer science to major in that, and then 10 for psychology to major in that.
Okay, what I'm going to offer.
Anything about degrees?
This is what I'm saying. This is an exceptionally temporary thing in italics and in like half bold print. Okay, so take that as like very light, but it sounds like this is not a double degree. This is a double major for 1 degree.
For 1 degree.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, remember, half bold italicized. So get all your.
Explain the difference to me that was a thing.
What year are you in?
I'm a senior.
Oh my God. So, well, okay, you know what? I feel
degrees
bad.
and majors do not mean the same thing.
No, they don't. Not at all.
Oh
I have a degree. Like when we're talking about my bachelor's, I have a degree with a double major.
What the devil?
What the devil?
What in the Allspark?
What in the Allspark?
I am so upset. I've been using those two words interchangeably for the last 4 years under the assumption that, you know what, I'm getting 2 degrees. It's cool, Dad. Hey, aren't you proud of me?
Yes. Oh my God, you told this to your dad? Okay, chat, press 1 for a warm hug for Weebs. Let's just fill that chat with 1 for warm hugs for Weebs.
No.
But you don't know. Like I said, you got to take this. You got to take this with a grain of salt and call the registrar tomorrow.
Okay, they're close. No, wait, no, they're not. We go to a private school. That's right.
And like I said, the accreditation is different. The credit hours is what counts overall, no matter what they're calling it. Call your registrar tomorrow.
I'm gonna have a fit tomorrow when they tell me that I'm not getting 2 degrees. Hey, Dad. So I have bad news.
No. Listen, this is what you want to do. Dad, well, of course they're interchangeable terms, Dad. They don't give you 2 pieces of paper. That's not environmentally friendly. This is 2 degrees on 1 piece of paper. Don't tell it. He's the last one you should clarify this situation for.
He's like, Weebo, make sure you graduate in 4 years since I'm paying for this. I don't want to pay for a 5th year if you have to get 5th year. You should probably get 2 Weebo. Polly, why did you do this? Why have you done this? I was in pure bliss.
I didn't mean to. I was
ruined my day.
Okay, well,
just my day though. It's fine.
There could have been a worse outcome here. Better to find out now than later. Better to defuse the bomb before it goes off in your face later. I mean, imagine if you found out when you were walking the stage. Where's my 2 degrees, bitch? What do you mean? You only get 1. Well, you're up there in your cap and gown.
Oh. Wow. That hurts my soul a little bit. I'm a little bit let down. So this is what disappointment feels like. I haven't felt this since my mother told me that Santa Claus wasn't real.
Are you
age 7?
Are you doing honors?
No.
No? Okay.
God, no.
Good. I hate those people.
Not with computer science.
No, I'm sorry. The people that bug me that you'll see BA HONS in the subtext, and it's like, oh, fuck off. Yeah, I know it's proper post nominals to, if you did with honors, to put HONS after it in subtext, but screw off.
So why not get a job and pay for the 2nd degree yourself? I mean, I could. I really don't want to go for another year of school that soon after I thought I was graduating. I want to get on with the rest of my life. You know, I want to been in a long distance relationship with boyfriend for like 3.5 years now, people. I'm a little bit stir crazy. I want to move out of the house, get my job, start the rest of my life as an independent woman who, don't need no dad. Is that so much to ask? It's not a big deal if I don't have 2 degrees, all right? It just feels like it right now because my world is crashing down around me. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm just being a drama queen. I'll get over it like by tomorrow mid-afternoon.
Well, I can actually relate on the subject because I remember when I added up my various credits and went to the what was it called? The Navigator program that they offered to track your degree and your progress through it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, I actually am going to have to stay here for another semester. Yeah, when I realized that, it was a big bomb drop. But I actually didn't end up having to do that because I monkeyed credits and did I did 2 summer classes.
And moan and cry to the registrar's office.
Well, no, I'm not a woman. I can't get away with that.
You can. If you're pathetic enough, you can.
No, I'm kidding. There's not much you can get away with because there's either you did it or you didn't do it, right? There is no way to pull that off. No, I did extra courses during the summer, and then I pulled off some extra credit projects in terms of independent research, mini theses and stuff like that, and ended up graduating on time. It's just I had to. Thank God I found out early enough. That was in my junior year that I realized I've got 3 semesters left, not 2.
It's actually pretty funny that you say that because my cousin, he actually goes to the same school that I do. He was worried this semester that he wasn't going to be able to graduate on time because he took a semester abroad in Italy teaching violin and whatnot. And apparently some of the credits that he needed, because he had already maxed out on credits, not on like the amount of credits you can take before you have to pay extra, but the amount of credits you can take while paying extra and still being a student at the school. I think it's like 7.5, where the average is, or like the normal is 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to go above and beyond, you can take 4.5 in a semester or 5, and that's fine. But he was taking like 7.5 or something, maxed out on them. And he still wasn't quite sure if he was able to graduate on time. He might have had to take another semester after I graduated. But he managed to go to the registrar's office and sort things out. So in a way where he was auditing a class that was a requirement, but only for the experience that it gave you.
Gotcha.
Because for whatever reason, they keep adjusting the graduation requirements, which is why I got screwed out of my minor in classical archaeology. So
they don't grandfather you from when they adjust graduation requirements? Really?
I guess not.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Changed the requirements when I was going from sophomore to junior. And it was like, you can opt to go with the new program, the old program. And I remember sitting there with like, for a full afternoon with somebody from the registrar, like plotting out which one would make my life easier. Yeah. You know what I mean? And ended up going with the original plan. Yeah. Because it's like, we're getting rid of for the psych part of it, we're getting rid of certain science requirements in terms of experimental requirements, as long as you were supplanting them with quantitative mathematical for statistical analysis requirements. And it was,
you didn't have to take does that mean you didn't have to take a class in statistics?
No, you still did. It was the number of them that you had.
Did you also have to take research methods?
Oh, of course.
I hated both of those classes for different reasons.
You want to know pain? Try taking quantitative analytics at the graduate level. That was a requirement for political science for my PhD.
You want to know pain? Try taking statistics and behavioral sciences from a man who can barely speak English.
Ouch. No kidding.
Yeah.
But math is the universal language.
Not if I can't understand what that is. Your mouth, sir. And when he was talking in English, he was forever raving on about how he was going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Swear to God, this man had such an inflated ego of himself, from what I understood. Ugh.
Well, that's wild. And the teaching violin nerd line Patriot says that reminded.
And he's actually less of a nerd than I am. He only has the violin as like his. What is it? Oh, fuck. He's only doing the violin thing for the scholarship it gets him. That's it. He's getting a degree in economics, though.
This fits to the point. That reminds me of a passage in one of Lauren's chapters from the Rules of Attraction. She's sitting in this boy's dorm room, and they're talking. She goes, and she's just describing what is sitting around, like the burned joints in the ashtray, and she's trying to fill her time while he's finishing off this paper at the very last minute. And I looked at the stack of books. There is Thus Spake Zarathustra underneath it, an economics textbook. Huh. I didn't know they offered that here. It's like an economic. You didn't know they offered economics at your school. Wow, you really are at a liberal arts school.
Of course they offer economics at a liberal arts school. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? It's an all-encompassing curriculum. You're getting all of the different ideas. The idea of a liberal arts college is not that it's like specific to the subject that you want to learn, but it's like you can get ideas from different subjects as well, and therefore you are a well-rounded student.
It's because of how flighty Lauren is in terms of taking things. Like, I mean, she finished her degree with as being a poetry major. And she went in that direction because she took one poetry class and the professor told her, your poetry has a lot of promise.
Oh my God. Okay. Hang on. That reminds me when I took a creative writing class and my professor said that I should major in creative writing. Creative writing class.
It's wild how impressionistic you can be when somebody in that environment tells you that, that something like that. And it's not even a compliment, but just like, well, it is a compliment, but I mean, they're not saying it as just to buff your egos because they legitimately believe that. And they were
con.
It's a long con.
You actually think you're going to be successful in the field when there are so many other creative writers out there? Let's be honest, honey. No, you're not. All right. Ow. Sorry to burst your bubble.
Oof. To all the aspiring authors out there, disregard. She points at herself.
If I ever do publish a book, I'll just rewatch this part of my stream right before I press publish on Amazon.
Yeah,
sorry, Jack.
I have published works,
and
they're extremely dry. They're very political science-y. I mean, they're not exactly page turners, but might help you with your insomnia in the sense that they'll probably put you to sleep. Yeah. Or you'll just throw it across the room in frustration and just like, oh, fuck this. Jesus Christ. And why is half of every page nothing but footnotes? Because I actually back up what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like, Polly. Okay. Can I just regale you with how utterly annoying it is to read through an entire study and then get to like the citation portion of that study, right? Where they're citing the information that it is that they're claiming supports what it is that they're saying. And then there's just a brick of just non-related parenthesized nonsense that I don't care about that like partitions the text a little bit. So I'm distracted and immediately I'm just like, wait, what? And it takes me out of what it is that I'm reading. At least your footnotes don't do that. And so therefore in the book that I'm reading where it's got like a half a page of footnotes, I only have to read half a page per page that I would otherwise have to read. Whereas with like APA style formatted studies, I don't have that same reassurance.
Oh, fuck APA. Because I had to do it for psych and inline citations, are just, they're for the birds, man. I mean, it's Chicago all the way. That's how I cite.
It's still a pain in the ass because you have to but it's less of a pain in the ass to read, at least, I think.
Control-Alt-F. That's how you add a footnote. That's the hotkey for it.
No, I don't. Yeah. I guess I could do that on this new computer.
Oh man, footnotes are the way to go. Endnotes suck because if I want to know where you're getting that from, I don't want to have to flip. God help me. Well, to the end of the chapter, or God help me to the end of the entire book to look up chapter 4, footnote 16. Where'd you get that from? No, put it on the page. And like I said, Chicago. That's the way to cite. You sound like most of my teachers when they told me I was going to go into the music biz. They were right, but still.
Well, yeah, no, I got a little bit harsh with my realism right there, didn't I? Oopsies. I mean, it's not like it's not untrue. You got to get a little bit realistic with that kind of stuff. My brother's got the same dreams of becoming like some sort of famous musician. And, I think he could do it if, one, he knew the right people, which I don't think is going to be super hard for our family. But two, he's got to have like the right drive to do so. And right now he's in that funk of, I only want to write the music that I want to write and not for anyone else. Does you know what I'm saying? Like,
I have heard people who express these kind of thoughts. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like he's got no passion for creating for other people. And that's where a lot of the money is going to be. Like in commissioned music pieces.
Except that if you want to make money, you're going to be writing jingles.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
What was the what's that joke inside of creative writing? What kind of writing pays the best? Extortion notes.
Wait, hang on. What's that supposed to be? Wait, extortion notes.
Yes. Weebo Jones, I discovered last week that you smoke crack. Pay me $5,000 or I will let it go to the world.
Okay.
Blackmail letters. What? It's a joke. It's a dark humor. What kind of writing pays the best? A note where you're extorting someone?
I thought you were gonna. I don't know. I thought you were talking about advertisement bits or something.
Unless you consider advertisement a form of emotional extortion, no.
Kind of, sometimes. Only $5 a day, you could save this helpless, emotionally traumatized puppy.
It's an emotionally traumatized puppy. Never worry about the fact that he was, starved and treated horribly and lived in his life for a page. Aren't we running like way over time?
We are. we are an hour. No, we're an hour over time, Polly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're only supposed to go for an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, supposed to go 90 minutes. Yep.
Yeah, we're at 2:26 now.
God damn it, Weebs. Why are you so interesting?
I'm sorry. I'll stop. All right. Bye. The stream's over. Go home.
I'll be more boring now.
Yeah, no, we should probably wrap it up because I've been sitting in this rather uncomfortable chair for 2.5 hours. Actually, 3 hours because I got here half an hour before Polly did. So, and I want to cuddle my puppy and start a fire in the house. And
your fire went out?
It went out. It went out.
Women. Am I right?
The logs are still wet, Polly. All right. Give me a break. You try lighting wet logs on fire. They were having trouble with it yesterday until my cousin brought up the lighter fluid.
You just got to build the kindling right. As long as you get the right embers, the embers and the
kindling is wet too, Polly.
Not if you. Were you ever a Boy Scout? No, you obviously weren't.
Because I'm a female. And I would have been a Boy Scout before they had that funny initiative that included women. Jesus, what the fuck? Oh, my alarm. Oh, God, that scared the shit out of me.
Still do, says this Polydub dude is not interesting. Why the fuck are you here?
I don't know. I think he's pretty interesting. We've just had almost 2.5 hours of conversation. So
yeah, I mean, admittedly, we went down the academic route, which was more of an inside baseball thing than anything. You gotta be careful about that. I mean, the technicalities of academic administration are not exactly the most fascinating subjects.
No, but I find myself inundated with study after study of the, moral foundations theory more and more every day nowadays. So that's my thesis, though, so it makes sense.
Your thesis is based in moral foundation theory?
Yeah.
Ooh.
The moral foundations of politics or political ideologies. What?
No, nothing. I was just, I thought about that, and then I read Polly, Do You Fish? Not since I was a kid. Not since I was in Boy Scouts, actually. I'd like to go fishing. I just don't know jack shit about where to go. Basically, I'd have to find a lake around me, or drive to the ocean.
All right, Polly, I need to shut us down.
Cool.
I need more booze. I need to give Daphne extra boobs because Lion Patriot asked me to.
You're going to explain that, or we're just going to leave it a mystery?
Daphne is my dog.
Uh-huh.
I'm supposed to give her extra boobs.
Ah.
because Lion Patriot in the chat asked me to. Does it need more explaining?
Yeah.
What about?
Still do thinks I talk like a college idiot. At least I can spell idiot properly. There's some irony.
Okay. And we're going to cut this show since before Polly can get into it with one of you guys from the chats. Anyway, thank you, Polly, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, chat, for being here. And thank you, chat, to those of you who donated to the stream. I really enjoy making use of that money for when I get hungry on the inside. It's a good time. Feed the Weebo. Daphne says hi, too, even though she's snoring at the moment. And I'll probably put her in my next video when I have it up on the channel on Wednesday or so. Polly, do you have anything to show?
Nothing that I already haven't. You can find my stuff down in the description.
Yes, you can, because I put it there.
Yay.
Yay. Anyway, so thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Not the same time, it will be earlier, but same place.
Nice. All right.
Gucci.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. End the broadcast. You gotta press the button.